the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could please remain standing for a moment of silence? Thank you. There are no votes taken in executive session.
That is me.
Correspondence? Okay, all right. We're going to move public comments to after the grading update presentation, which will be just before the monthly financial report. And we're also going to move the Stephen Only Award, National Blue Ribbon Award, up on the agenda. So we're going to take that up now. I have citations here. Yeah, and the superintendent's going to read a letter.
This letter is from Arnie Duncan, the Secretary of Education from Washington. In recognition of exemplary achievement, Gap Closing School, Stephen Only School, North Providence, Rhode Island, is a winner of the 2014 National Blue Ribbon School. Congratulations on earning National Blue Ribbon School recognition as a 2014 Exemplary Achievement Gap Closing School. The U.S. Department of Education is pleased to acknowledge your efforts to support all students in reaching high academic standards. Your school is an inspiring example of excellence in education. President Barack Obama and I firmly believe that we must prepare every student to graduate from high school, ready to attend college or begin a career. We are committed to transforming our education system to remove barriers that prevent our students from assessing a learning environment that fosters high expectation and high achievement. Our nation's success depends on a well-educated and highly effective citizens. Schools like yours demonstrate that with effort and dedication, schools and classrooms can be great places where students engage in the kinds of complex and creative thinking necessary in a global economy. By empowering every child to become a lifelong learner and an engaged citizen, you and your colleagues are creating the leaders of tomorrow. Your example is a powerful inspiration to other educators. I hope that you will work with other schools to share the practices that you have made in your school being exemplary. The U.S. Department of Education looks forward to celebrating your accomplishments at the 2014 National Blue Ribbon School Recognition event in Washington, D.C., November 10th and 11th. 2 representatives from your school are invited to attend. I look forward to seeing you at the award ceremony. Congratulations again on your well-deserved honor. I wish you and your students continued success in the years ahead. Arnie Duncan.
Okay, thank you very much, Superintendent. Now we will proceed to the presentation, nothing else, right? That's it, of the citations of congratulations to the Stephen Only faculty and also to their late former esteemed principal, Arthur Corsini. I have, Arthur, we have 2 citations for you. One is in recognition of your exemplary leadership and dedication to the students, family, and everyone at Stephen Only School. The entire membership extends its very best wishes to you on this memorable occasion and expresses the hope for continued good fortune. That's for you personally, Arthur. And also, and the other one is Arthur again in recognition of 2014 National Blue Ribbon Award at Stephen Only School. I'd like to say a couple of words about Arthur, who I know very well. I knew him as a student. Tells you how old I am. We've always had a very fine relationship. I guess the only disagreement we ever had was that I'm a avid Red Sox fan. He's a big Yankee fan. But outside of that, we always got along very well. As a matter of fact, when I first started teaching, I was a very young fella, and we used to have the softball games, right, Arthur? Which was a lot of fun. But one thing I want to say about you, Arthur, you had that rare quality that not too many people have. The students loved you, the teachers loved you, and the parents. You had all three. So I want to congratulate you, Arthur. Neither one of our teams did that well. Okay, ready?
You want to try?
What I'm going to do is anyone that worked at the school during this period, which was last year, should be getting a citation. If for some reason you don't get one, it was just an error of omission, nothing personal. Mary Ann Quintino. Diane Parmigiano. Diane Parmigiano. No. Christine Browning. Karen Baglini. Melissa D'Amico. Great. Gina DeAngelis. Joyce Federici. Joyce, congratulations. Pompey Monday. Leslie Lancia. Francis Marshall. Congratulations. Judith Maxim. Karen Pezza. Christina Paroli. Joan Reddy. Catherine Zarelli. Laura Mena. Noreen Inglesi. Congratulations, Noreen. David Andriozzi. Michael Branca. John DeSuma. Gerald Rubino. Congratulations, Gerald. Michelle Poria. Congratulations to you. Jamie DiLorenzo. Ralph Montella. Michelle Sanchez. Judy Cambio. Judy, congratulations. Christine Toick. Donna Crescenzo. Congratulations. Andrea Martel. Pamela Marciano. Robert Simeone. Deborah Danito. Patricia Lorenko. Wendy Lucas. Right. Yes.
Thank you so much. Very good.
Nice to see you. Thank you. Janice Arsenal. Congratulations, Janice. Nice to see you. All set? For the people that aren't here this evening, we will certainly get these citations to them. Again, I want to congratulate the staff at Stephen Only School, teachers, everyone that participated. You did a wonderful job under the leadership of a very humble man, Arthur Corsini. Thank you very much for coming this evening. And again, congratulations. We're going to take a 5-minute recess right now, just so everybody who wants to leave can leave and whatever. I know the weather's not that good out there either, you know. Okay, the recess is over, and we're going to continue on with our agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I received a letter from the Rhode Island Counselors Association and informing the school department that Anna Holland was elected to the president of our organization for the 2014-15 school year. We want to congratulate Anna, and they also want to congratulate the North Providence School District for providing an educational environment that encourages development of the personal and professional qualities required for the positions of statewide leadership. We congratulate Anna Holland for being president of this organization this year. Next on the agenda, every month we have a presentation from one of the organizations at North Providence High School. This month, we have a presentation from the Gay Straight Alliance, and Mrs. Perillo, want to come on up?
You were so helpful every time I went there. I can't believe you told me. Every time I went there, she helped me. You gonna be all right? You know where you work next time.
This thing I'm wearing
Thank you.
I do. Okay, like I'm.
Blanket or wrong?
I just want to wait till everyone gets a handout.
Yeah. Candy, I'm disappointed. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Did he get one as well? Okay. No, I didn't. No, we just did the handouts. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for welcoming us tonight to share some of the wonderful things that our club has done and is continuing to do at North Providence High School. My name is Mrs. Deanna Perillo, and I teach English at the high school. And I have been the facilitator of the Gay Straight Alliance since its inception in March of 2009, when the club was begun by a student's request. So it was a student group that got together and decided that they needed a Gay Straight Alliance, and administration granted that request, and I have been part of their leadership since then, along with some other teachers who are with us tonight. Mr. Emmanuel Ramos is with me. Ms. Amy Marsland and Mr. Jason Ryan have also been integral in the leadership of the group. Our group, yearly, we come up with a mission statement, and the mission statement that we have formulated for this year with our new group of students is that the mission of the NPHS Gay Straight Alliance is to celebrate diversity in a safe place where all can be heard, be themselves, and make a difference by spreading knowledge and awareness to ensure equality and acceptance for members of the LGBTQ community and its allies. And Mr. Emmanuel Ramos is going to talk about statistics and really why schools even need a GSA.
Thank you, Ms. Perillo. So why do schools need a GSA? Research shows that youth harassed on the basis of sexual orientation are more than twice as likely to report depression and seriously consider suicide. Youth harassed on the basis of sexual orientation are more likely to report low grades, smoke, drink alcohol, or use drugs. They're more likely to become victims of violence, and 3 times as likely to report missing school in the last 30 days. GSAs can help by providing a support network for LGBTQ students, improve school climates, and build bridges between LGBTQ and straight students. There are approximately 40 GSAs in Rhode Island and 8,000 in the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Ramos. I also have with me 2 student members of the Gay Straight Alliance. I have senior Chloe Manning and sophomore Thais Gonzalez, and they're going to read some of the student responses that we gathered this year about what the GSA means to the students who are part of it.
The GSA is a group of teenagers who get together and talk about the issues of the LGBTQ community, realizing that being an ally is just as important as being in the LGBTQ community, a safe place where everyone is welcome, a place where people can be heard and make a difference by spreading knowledge and raising awareness, a place where we encourage acceptance and having an open mind, a place where we check in with people who care and matter.
The GSA is a place where I can meet new people who will accept me for who I am and who share similar ideas. A place where I don't have to lie about myself and there's no need to hide. A place where I am not afraid to say what I want to say. A place where I am inspired by people who are brave enough to be themselves without an apology.
Thank you, Chloe and Thais. I also listed here some of the past events that the Gay Straight Alliance has sponsored, and I'm not going to read through all of them, but I wanted to highlight 3 of them. Our really most important event of the year, in my opinion, is the National Day of Silence, and that is a day where many students take a vow of silence, and what we primarily do is we host a silent tables at lunch in the cafeteria, where I think it's the noisiest place in the school, and I think our silence is really noticed there. We usually have t-shirts made, and we're sitting together in solidarity, and it's a day to honor those who have been silenced by LGBTQ bullying. So it's a day to honor those who have been harassed, those who have been physically assaulted, those who have committed suicide due to this type of bullying. And this is a nationwide event that takes place on a certain day. Usually it's in April. We've also had guest speakers visit the GSA as well as visit the faculty. Youth Pride Rhode Island is a key organization in Rhode Island that supports LGBTQ youth, and they're very keen in educating, in advocating for these students, providing them with things when some of them may be homeless or get kicked out of their homes because of their sexual orientation. So this is a wonderful resource, and it's a wonderful partnership for me and the GSA. They've helped me a lot in terms of running the club and keeping things, running events and getting other guest speakers. And we also did have a Youth Pride speaker come and speak to the school improvement team a couple of years ago. So the faculty was also able to listen to the presentation and understand some issues that may be facing this population that we really, it's our most at-risk population that we need to serve. And we also have done something called Ally Week, where we set up a table in the cafeteria and just kind of spread awareness about an anti-bullying initiative specifically about LGBTQ students. And we collected email addresses, and we had so many conversations, productive conversations with students and faculty alike, who were just asking, what is this? What does this mean? And basically the message that we were sending is, we are here to promote acceptance for everyone and to stop bullying against, for all reasons, in particular, bullying based on sexual orientation or on gender identity issues. We also have some future events listed here that we hope to plan in this coming year or the years to follow. And I wanted to just thank everyone for inviting us to share all the great things that the Gay Straight Alliance is doing at North Providence High School. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda.
The next thing is Mrs. Catone. The school committee had asked for an update on the History Day participation, and so we're inviting Mrs. Catone up to give us an update on Ritchie, and hopefully we'll have an update on Birchwood as well.
Good evening. As of right now at Ritchie Middle School, I have 3 teams of students at a number of 12. I have 2 groups who will be presenting group exhibits. And for the first time at Ritchie Middle School, we will also be creating a website on the website design category. And I also have 2 girls who are possibly also doing it. So I could have a total of 14. But it is the first time that we will ever be doing a website.
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Don?
As promised last meeting, I think I made the motion that if Ms. Catone came back and she was able to successfully enroll students into her program, that we would approve it. So I want to make a motion that we allow History Day to continue at Ritchie School.
Okay, motion by Mr. Cataldi, seconded by Mrs. Picard
Whole
and the entire committee. We're going to have discussion on that. By the way, I know you do a fabulous job. You did a great job last month when you made your presentation. Mrs. Picard.
Just to clarify, at the last meeting, I think all of us remember Carol presenting every year regarding the work she does around History Day with her students and the amount of time that goes into that, and all her Saturdays and money out of even her own pocket. And we appreciate everything she does around that. So I just want to make clear that the History Day at Ritchie was never a question as far as I was concerned. And so just to clarify, the concern came around Birchwood because there were 0 students enrolled for the last 2 years and a stipend was provided. Because of that, that was why I think there was a question. But at no time, and I'll speak for myself, did I feel that Ritchie was in jeopardy.
Mr. Iannetta.
Are we going to hear the Birchwood numbers?
As of today, Birchwood has 15 students who've shown interest in History Day. We've had 2 meetings at Birchwood School, and there was also some talk about the program with teachers from different teams. So we had 10 students who showed up to one meeting. We had 5 more students that have shown interest since that meeting on October 7th. With 15 kids, we can look at anywhere between 5 to 7 teams going forward. Not sure what they're going to participate in, as only the theme and the ideas about what could be offered have been discussed at this time. So we're waiting to see what your decision was.
Mr. Chairman? Again, just stating what we had said the last time, if there are students enrolled in the program, I move that we allow History Day to continue with Birchwood as well.
The 2 motions, we'll call that a joint motion, okay?
Yep.
For both schools. We're under discussion.
I have a discussion. I am seeing that Ms. Catone does come to present the projects of the groups. I think we would love, as a committee, to make sure we see the same students at Birchwood be able to participate at the school committee meeting to share their work that they are presenting.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Dianetta?
I am pleased that the numbers at Birchwood and at Ritchie are what they are. Early in the evening, I spoke to Mrs. Melissa Caffrey, who is chair of the Social Studies Department here at the high school, and she says that Russell Payon, who headed the History Day at the high school, they do look to both middle schools as a feeder system to the History Day clubs at the high school. So I'm satisfied that the numbers are what they are. Maybe throughout the years, not throughout this year, not only will the numbers stabilize, but maybe the numbers will increase. And the students who participate in the middle schools can take their interest with them as they go to the high school and become involved in the History Day at the high school.
Further discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend my motion to include Mrs. Picard's suggestion that both schools come present before us.
Okay. Mr. Cataldi just amended his motion. We need a second on that.
Second.
Seconded by the entire committee. We're still under discussion. Any further comments? I don't think this committee ever wanted to eliminate History Day. I think we just wanted to make sure that there was enough interest to continue it. Thank you very much for coming, and we will vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
Mr. Chairman, members of the school committee, as you know, this year the district is under a great reform, especially at the elementary level. And we are in the process of transitioning from a grade point standards, grade point grading system in kindergarten through grade 5 to standard-based grading, which aligns with the Common Core state standards. So we've asked Assistant Superintendent Lisa Jakes to give you a presentation and an overview of our transition.
So may I?
And before that, Mrs. Picard would like to address the committee.
Okay, Mrs. Pecan.
So I placed grading practices on this month's agenda, and I want to thank Belinda for asking Lisa to present so there would be some more clarity around this work. Last year, the North Providence School Department took on the work of grading across the district as a whole. However, we still haven't come to a final policy, but grading practices have been put into place for this year, but the work started last year. I want to commend Melinda Smith and her grading team for the amount of work that went into that. I think for several years, we've been hearing from parents, especially K through 2, that the report cards, actually K through 3, that the report cards didn't really give them enough feedback and S and O. You know, what does this mean? I don't know if my child, it says math. Can they add? Can they subtract? We need some more information. So with that in mind, North Providence began the move towards standard-based report card this year, K to 5, which I think is an excellent move. And I want to thank the teachers for embracing the work, because I've been in contact with Lisa and Melinda, and they've really taken on the work. There's been some, clarifying that needed to be done. I had a lot of parent feedback from different schools, asking questions, all very thoughtful, very good questions. So Melinda made it a point to add that to the North Providence Parent Expo to make sure parents had a forum to listen to reporting practices that were going to go happen. She also established report card nights for all the elementary schools moving forward that are happening, I think, starting this week. And if parents can't attend their own elementary schools, they can go to any one of those elementary schools to listen to that work. So she's really, really thoughtful about making sure parents have a venue to speak, and that we're taking in their feedback so we get better and better, so our teachers can provide clarity. So you may have had over the last few weeks, some questions, and maybe a teacher that you had didn't have a complete clarity, but they're asking questions. They're using Ms. Jakes and Ms. Smith to clarify, and they're very proud of the work, and they're moving forward. So I want to make sure that the parents know that we're being very proactive and that we hear you. And I know what it is, right? The report cards are going to come out, and that's that sigh of relief that you want to make sure it's fair and that you understand it so you know what it means. And hopefully, if you still have any questions, I'm going to ask any parents to please leave their name with Lisa. She'd be more than happy to sort of discuss that with you. But I do think the report card nights at elementary school will help clarify. And I know at the middle school level, concerns were more around the level of opportunity students were having to be able to show growth. So this idea of on October 1st, you didn't do so well, that's when the test was taken, and there's nothing else we can do about that. The teachers are really being thoughtful about reflecting on the work and making sure students have multiple opportunities so they can show growth. So I know Lisa's meeting with the teacher leaders, and they've had lots of conversations. So I just want to let the parents know that we hear you, keep the feedback coming. We want to get better at this so it's clear to you. And if it's still not clear, let us know. So thank you.
Okay, Lisa?
Gina summed up my whole presentation very nicely. Thank you, Gina. So I think I'm all set. So I'll do the abridged version, but nonetheless, thank you. Gina clarified quite a bit. And so hopefully if there are any other questions, you can certainly ask at the end of the meeting. So as Ms. Picard certainly pointed out, and I want to thank the committee for last year approving our moving forward with Skyward. Skyward is our new student information system. Skyward allowed us to not only improve our database, but also improve all of our other systems. So we are looking at everything, how we do business with everything in the district. And one part of that is looking at the grade book and report cards. Skyward allows us to do everything electronically. Those of you who have had experience with MMS, we were using that only at the secondary level because it was not an easy task to put in standard-based grading into MMS. But this program already had that built in, and so we were able to build it from the ground up. And so the report card committee and grading committee met last year. We looked at standard-based report cards around the nation and in other countries, actually, as well as our neighboring districts. And we started looking at the research. We watched videos. We read best practices research. We met with local districts as well to bring back our feedback at the district level to see what other districts were doing. And so we had arrived at our current report card that you can now find online. And so with that became our initial training. So our Skyward trainers started the initial training with helping our teachers put all of that information into the gradebook. And so now we're moving forward with the day-to-day practices of standard-based grading. So that committee was put together last year. There were teachers on it, some I see in the room, thank you, and administrators as well. And then we worked to get everything into Skyward. I don't know if you can see that clearly. So the big shift is from to standard-based report cards. For those of you familiar with our old report card, as Ms. Picard pointed out, they were it was just very vague. So you just received a satisfactory or an outstanding on a category without any real clarification on what that meant. And so as the district has moved towards aligning our curriculum to Common Core and other content standards, this provides an opportunity to become aligned on the report card as well. So those were not broken down. If you remember the old report cards, every grade looked the same. And so the K-3 report cards were one way and the 4 and 5 had other topics on it. But this allows us to report out specifically grade level expectations. It's very tiny, but you can find all of these on our website. So there's the front page and the back page. And if you notice, every content is broken down by key or anchor standards and skills that we're looking for. And we're being very careful to take out student behavior out of the grade. So this report card really gets to looking at the student performance on the content without whether the student behaves well in class or, complies with whatever is asked of them. That's important, but that's taken out of the grade. We don't want that to be confused. So if they extra credit to bring in a canned good, that's not a reflection of what the student knows. So those behaviors are taken out of the grade, and so we're reporting out directly on the content and the skills, and the behavior is separate. So in summing up the report card, it's also helping us kind of focus on what we're supposed to do day by day. So if you talk to any of the teachers that are left here in the room, they will tell you that this is helping them make sure they're staying on track with their assessments. So they're assessing what needs to be assessed. It is also helping them stay on track with the curriculum. And then it's actually reporting out to the parents and to the student what a student actually knows along the year based on what is expected of them at that grade level.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone have any? I'm sorry. I thought
That's
you were done.
okay. So we have a scoring base of a 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll talk quickly. Exceeding the standard, meeting the standard, and approaching the standard, not meeting the standard. So you'll see that grading on your report cards and should see some of that coming home with your student. And so you might see some of these in the classrooms, or your child may come home with this type of rubric to help them be able to explain to you. So your students should be able to know what a 4, 3, 2, 1 means to them on a day-to-day basis, as well as aligned to the standards. So the difference between getting that A or getting a 4 is really looking at going above and beyond the grade level. They should be able to explain it to someone else. They should be able to teach others, and they know how to do it, and they do it at a higher level on a consistent basis. And so our kids are all, we expect them all to hopefully be at a 3, just meeting the standard and being able to do it on their own and to be able to make few to little mistakes. That's what we're shooting for on a daily basis. At the secondary level, we did not change our numerical grading. We are still grading on an average due to Junior Honor Society, National Honor Society, GPA, and what have you, class ranking. But we did look at how we were going to categorize our assignments in the portal. Last year and prior years in MMS, teachers could pick the names of their categories, they could weigh things how they wanted to, and it was not consistent throughout the district. And so the report card and grading committee worked to have common categories that we are working on, looking at what all of those categories are. Throughout the district, we are studying the comprehensive assessment system, guidance in best practices around assessment, and what these different assessments, what are they trying to assess, and how are we using them day to day. So we have the homework, formative assessment, interim assessment, and summative assessment. And so teachers are thinking about, so is the quiz something that's going to continue to guide their instruction throughout the rest of the unit? Is it something that's given at the end as a big culinary activity? So that would be more of the summative. Or is it someplace in between where it's a good checkpoint, but maybe we need some more assistance? Prior to this year, there was not a consistent percentage on how much homework was weighed. So that was changed this year, that it cannot be more than 10% district-wide. And so teachers are utilizing that. Some teachers don't want to count homework. They have that luxury, but it cannot count more than 10%. And so we're still calculating on average. So I already summed this one up. So basically we are changing some of the categories, our practices around why we're doing assessments and trying to be thoughtful of those. Again, providing feedback to students both at the elementary and the secondary level, and to make sure that the summative assessments, that students have opportunities, multiple opportunities to show and know what they do and learn, and that they're able to retake those assessments as needed if they need a little more instruction. And That's kind of tiny. So basically, throughout this school year, the North Providence School Department is focusing all of our professional development surrounding this whole topic. So we're looking to implement standards-based planning and grading and assessments all around Skyward, using the new grading software and all the technology and resources that we have in the classroom. So utilizing the new science kits, the new math resources K-8, the interactive projectors, Discovery Ed, the list goes on. We've been working on really helping the teachers have those resources available to be able to align their instruction to Common Core. And so you can see there's a list of people who are helping with that. Stephanie is in the Stephanie Ganem, our Title I coordinator, is working with elementary around some of that. Barbara Fox is our new math coach. She's working K-8 to help bring all of that. The list goes on this is a team effort. And the teachers are helping each other. They're bringing wonderful rubrics and conversation and professional discussion to our grade level meetings, both at the elementary, middle, and high school level. So we began working this past couple of weeks, having grade level meetings with the elementary level to really make sure we're zoomed in on what is going to be graded on the report card, how we're going to do that, how we're going to communicate that out to parents, and then day-to-day alignment with activities and assignments and rubrics, so that way we are all reporting out the same. And so the teachers have just been wonderful, wonderful. And so I think I'm hoping that you will see that your teachers are all on the same page and we are moving forward with all of that. And there's been some discussion and some misconceptions. And so we want to make sure that we're all moving forward in the same direction. And I think that they would agree that that's been going well this past couple of weeks. And so with anything that's new, we need to give everybody some time just to firm that up a little bit. But I think that you should really see a great movement going forward in the elementary level. At the middle school level, I've met with the team leaders, and so they're also working on this project at the middle school level, again, talking about feedback on assessments and multiple opportunities, and so there's been a lot of support there. At the high school level, the department chairs continue to calibrate student work, and they've been moving forward with this process for years, and so now they're just tightening up their calibration of assessments and realigning their common tasks to the Common Core state standards and the national science standards and other content area. So the work continues and it will continue. And so this is an ongoing process throughout the year, but it is our primary focus of all professional development this year, is that whole wraparound of instruction and planning and assessing all around the standards, all around reporting out to the parents so they know what your child knows and needs some support in. So as Ms. Pickard, last slide, as Ms. Pickard mentioned, we have parent nights coming up at each individual school. So if you are unable to attend the Parent Expo presentations, Stephanie Ganem and myself will be going out to elementary schools to specifically look at report cards at those buildings. This schedule can also be found on our district website. We will be meeting in each building once a week for the next couple of weeks. So even if you are a Wayland parent and if that date doesn't work for you and you want to come on another date, you're welcome to do so. So there'll be the same presentation at each building. So please find one that is convenient for you, even if it is not at your child's school. And I think that ought to do it. So if there are any other questions, you can certainly please leave your name with me if I haven't answered those.
Mr. De Silva has a
Okay,
question.
and Mr. De Silva, certainly. No, go ahead. Which one? I'm sorry. Can you read that? Yeah. Because that comes right out of the Common Core state standards. Well, so actually we talked about that. And so as we start looking at what assessments, specifically even with the 5th grade teachers today, there was some conversation about, reporting out So you'll see a grading based on grade level with certain things, but then we are working to report out to parents what their instructional level is based on the Fontes and Pinnell assessment. And so they will be, most of the teachers will be doing it at the end of this trimester. And so we were hoping to possibly put that in the comments. And then as we move forward with this, editing the report card next year to specifically report that right out onto the report card. Ms. Ganem has distributed to all of the teachers, and the teachers will be distributing that to parents on what your instructional level should be by grade level. So you should know if, you know, what grade you're in, what reading level you should be at by the end of the first trimester, by the end of the second trimester. And you will know your student's instructional level based on the Fontes and Pinnell assessment that they will be giving. And then you will be able to see whether your child is on, at, or above grade level. You're so welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we moved public comments on other items on the agenda to just above the superintendent's reports. Okay, any public items, comments on items 6 through the remainder of the agenda? Madam Superintendent, Superintendent's report.
Okay, moving on. Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the financial report as submitted.
Moved by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Iannetta. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the homeschool requests as submitted.
Motion by Mr. Iannetta, seconded by Mr. Palmieri. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Let the record show that Mrs. Picard and Mr. Cataldi voted in the negative. Next item.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the field trip requests as submitted.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Iannetta and Mr. De Silva. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the safety plan as submitted.
Moved by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Everyone has that plan in front of them. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the removal of textbooks from inventory as submitted.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Iannetta. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
The next item I'm going to turn over to Mr. McNamee before we consider a vote.
Mr. McNamee, the finance man.
I know you've been waiting for this. So our energy contracts, we buy our natural gas and our electricity from two separate vendors. And obviously the grid, National Grid, will deliver that energy to the schools. And back in December of 11, we entered into a 3-year contract where we were purchasing electric at 6.7 cents a kilowatt hour, and we're buying natural gas at $7.154 per decatherm. We use roughly about 28,000 decatherms. We use about 2.7 million kilowatt hours in electricity. I've been into the market talking to a number of energy suppliers, getting quotes on what 1, 2, and 3-year contracts look like. And I think I gave you copies of what I have on the electric side. I'm still waiting to get a couple more gas contracts in. But what happens with these suppliers is they're going to go into the market and they're going to buy up energy that's going to be produced in the future. So there's a time period that when they quote me, for example, they refresh rates today, which are good towards the end of the day. So I need the ability to either enter into a contract to purchase those at the opportune time to get the lowest rate. And the closer we get to the winter months, the higher the rates wind up going up. So right now, what we're looking at, for example, on a 3-year, which is what we have now, we're looking at about 9.3, almost 9.4 kilowatt hour versus 6.75. It's a 40% increase.
Oh.
Now, in dealing with these energy suppliers, I've got schooled in terms of what drives energy costs. And you would say that, there's an abundance of natural gas. Natural gas is producing a lot of the electricity. Unfortunately, in the Northeast, there's not enough infrastructure to get that gas to the Northeast. So what they're telling me is that hopefully in 2 years, that infrastructure might be in place. They're not sure. Where we might see some movement on pricing after a 2-year period. So we could either enter into a 2-year contract, or we could wait and enter into that 3rd year somewhere down the road when we find out whether that infrastructure will be in place. So that's an option, although they weren't optimistic that that would happen in a 3-year period. So, for budgetary purposes, obviously entering into a fixed 3-year worked out well in the past. We got some pretty good rates. And I think going forward, it only appears that rates are going to increase. So it's probably appropriate that we enter into, at a minimum, a 2-year, and then we should consider maybe adding that 3rd year.
John, I just got a quick question. I've been reading in the newspaper that natural gas is going down. So what am I missing here?
It's supply, though. They can't get enough supply to the Northeast.
So
They certainly can't get liquid natural gas to the Northeast.
Yeah, I got
So
that.
what we're facing a situation where there's a supply, but it just can't get to the Northeast.
I got you.
So
Rod?
just for electric and gas, only because we have to react very quickly. And I've given you estimates. I'll get you the estimates on the gas as well, too. So within the rates that are being proposed, right? Right.
That's where I was.
I checked with the town. They were going to enter into a contract with him, and that seemed to go south. So I don't know whether they built or they didn't get the permits to build the green energy project they were going to build. Well, they call that net metering. So what is it? The utilities need to buy that energy back, and we would be in a position to buy that. Now, the offer on the table was about 14 cents a kilowatt hour, which includes the grid cost as well as the energy costs. So that would have been a good deal. I don't think it's caught hold at this point in time, and the project is not being built. So.
Ron?
Silver made that motion, I'll second it.
Yeah, John wanted the ability to enter into these contracts. Mr. Silva just made the motion. Mr. Ionetta seconds the motion. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Next item, be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the removal of electronic equipment from inventory as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the class of 2016 winter ball contract as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
And be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the job description as submitted.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Iannetta, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion, Mr.
Can somebody just refresh my memory on that, please?
I have it right here. The job description is for,
It's for $3,000.
oh, yes, it's the instructional technology facilitators. They're going to be doing some professional development after school.
At a stipend of $3,000.
Right.
Okay.
And that, by the way, when we get to appointments, Mr. Cataldi, that's going to be split by 2 teachers.
Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
We have any?
Okay.
We have Mrs. Picard would like to speak about parent communication in relation to the school district's website.
Yeah. So I had placed on the agenda an item regarding the school websites in order to provide some criteria around what should minimally be on the website. Some parents are finding that their websites are excellent, that it's a one-stop shop. They can go to it, get all the information they possibly need. I think the high school is a great example of that kind of website. Granted, they have a larger faculty, but oftentimes parents utilize even more than ever before the website. And when I asked for some clarity around specifics, it was things like, my child has a project, so I have Skyward, but I see it on Skyward after they've already completed it. Would be nice to know if I could click on that teacher and say, okay, here's what's coming up. Here's a quarterly review. Here's an up in the next couple of months. What can I expect? And the parents were really thoughtful about saying, they realize as the children get older, even in middle school, upper grades, 4th and 5th, that there has to be a responsibility on their child's part. But again, we ask our parents to be engaged partners. So in order for them to be engaged and to be active, they want to be proactive and not reactive. So the more information they have, the more they can be support to the teacher as well as their own child. So things like projects, things like rubrics, criteria that's expected, the big goals. For example, now that we have a curriculum, it is located on our website. There are some things that are on the school department website that could be a quick link off a school's website. So it's just making sure that the calendars are updated, that the PTO meetings are listed, the SIT meetings are listed, the LAC meetings are listed, which I know they are, but sometimes not everybody always attacks the school department. They look first at the school. So it's not a bad idea to make sure that we're really being thoughtful about the information. And so if we could design some criteria for the schools to say, at minimum, your website should include the following. And I think the PTOs and the parent groups would be a nice place to ask for feedback around the covered websites. So this way, the faculties and the teachers could be thoughtful about what would be helpful to see. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Okay, Linda.
The next item, I think we addressed the grading practices, okay, is bus camera discussion from Mr. Andriozzi.
Thank you. As we all remember, about 18 months ago, we entered into a contract with a company called Student Guardian. They were to put cameras on the outside of our buses to catch violators of school bus stopping laws. I did some investigating over the summer, and I realized that this district had 112 violations that were awarded to us at a cost of $300 to $500 per violation. We received 25% of that money per contract with the company. So in August, I asked Mr. McNamee if he had received any of the monies, and he said he hadn't, and he did some investigative work of his own. And prior to the September meeting, he informed me that the town had received some $9,200 of funds, and he in turn recouped them from the town. And I guess going forward, the money will be sent to our account, because I'm assuming it's going to continue. Some districts in the state have received an enormous amount of money. So what I would like to do is, if I could, put a motion on the table. Presently, we do not have any cameras on the inside of the middle school and or high school buses, and we have no monitors on the bus either. I was wondering if we could put a motion on the table where that funds that we received from the violations be used to at least look into a contract maybe with someone for putting the cameras on the inside of the buses.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Andriozzi, seconded by Mrs. Picard. I think that's an excellent idea, by the way, Steve.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item.
We don't have any bids this evening, so be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the resignations as submitted.
Motion by Mr. De
Second.
Silva, seconded by Mrs. Picard. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next
Do
item.
not have any retirements this evening. The next item, be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the leave of absences as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Iannetta. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
We do not have any leave of we do have leave of absence requests. Be it resolved that at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the leave of absences as submitted.
We just did that
Yeah, that
one.
one we just did.
Okay, there's
The
no
layoffs.
layoffs.
No layoffs.
We're down to appointments, okay. I'm going to list the appointments that we have this evening. William Bowers, Instructional Technology Facilitator. Michael Branca, Boys Head Basketball Coach. Julie Cook, Math RTI at the high school. Michael Daly, Instructional Technology Facilitator. Danielle DeFonte, I don't know if she's here this evening. Danielle? She is our, it's a 1 year only, that's a correction I need to make there, that she's a 1 year only teacher, 6th grade at Ritchie Middle School. Deb Giamacco, Math RTI at North Providence High School. Danielle Hathaway, Math RTI teacher at North Providence High School. Kathleen Lisi, College Board Advanced Placement Coordinator. Tina Travato, Elementary Yearbook Advisor at Wayland Elementary School. And I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Todd Vanderdoes, Network Manager, to replace Mr. Stephen Turner. And I know Mr. Vanderdoes is here in the back. Gail Wolf, Middle School Yearbook Advisor. And I believe I have everyone. So be it resolved at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the appointments as submitted.
Motion by Mr. De Silva.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Picard. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
We don't have any layoffs this evening. We do not have any displacements this evening. But we do have use of property requests. And be it resolved at the recommendation of the school committee, the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the use of property requests as submitted.
We need a motion. Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Iannetta. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
Be it resolved at the recommendation of the superintendent, the North Providence School Committee consider and vote to approve the list of bills as submitted.
So moved.
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Okay. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
And we do not have any fundraisers this evening. Next is the approval of minutes.
So I'd like to make a motion to approve the regular session minutes for September 24th.
Motion by Ms. Picard to approve the regular motion minutes, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
And I'd like to make a motion to approve and seal the executive session minutes for September 24th, pursuant and applicable to provisions of Rhode Island General Law 42-46-4 and 5.
Approve and seal the executive committee meetings of September 24th, seconded by Mr. De Silva. Discussion, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, ayes have it, so voted.
Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn is in order, seconded by Mr. Iannetta. Discussion. Meeting's adjourned at 8:45.
Don't forget your mics are still on. They're brand new.